Hello, Christ Church family and friends, and all of you who are able to watch this short devotional today. Today is our third installment of our Lenten devotionals as we walk through the life of Christ, leading up to that outstanding, wonderful Easter morning coming up in just a while, a little over a month. This morning, we're going to talk about how Jesus came out of the water and was baptized. And when that baptism happened, that the dove came and God's voice described it and said, "This is my son of whom I'm well pleased," initiating Jesus's ministry. But what we're going to talk about this morning is how right after that wonderful experience with the Son and the Father, he immediately was led to be tempted by the devil. Now, so often, even when we have a good day or a good moment, it seems like all of a sudden, bam, something else hits us. Something else comes at us that we weren't expecting, something that brings anxiety and stress, and something that wears us out emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. Well, there's a lot of good news that comes from the story and life of Jesus here. Because it says, when Jesus was led by the Spirit into the desert, he was tempted by the devil. And after fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. And the tempter came to him. And if you know the story, the devil tried to tempt him with three powerful temptations: attacking his hunger, attacking his rightful rule as God, trying to usurp Jesus's role as Redeemer and Lord of the earth, trying to cause him to sin. And yet Jesus overcame all of those temptations, for the devil is truly no match for Jesus. For Jesus is God. And with that knowledge, we know that Jesus has told us that his very Spirit lives within us. And because of that, though it's often a difficult thing to get a hold of and even experience, we are told that we can overcome temptation in the same way that Jesus did. And so for those of you who are watching, Jesus wants us to know that every temptation that we would face and will face and have faced, we can overcome it through the power of the Spirit. To make my point, Paul reflects on this in 1 Corinthians 10, and he says, "No temptation has seized you or grabbed hold of you." A lot of times it feels that way, doesn't it? It's like it's clawing at our minds or our hearts or our wills, and it feels like we cannot overcome it. And yet we're told the great promise that no temptation has grabbed hold of us or seized us, except what is common to the human experience. And God is faithful. Right in the middle of that verse, that truth is there for us, that God is faithful to support us and strengthen us. If necessary, forgive us when we have fallen, and allowing us to be broken, but yet be restored. And we're told that God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so you can stand up or overcome it. So Jesus has promised us that even when we're going through what feels like the valley of the shadow of death, as the psalmist in Psalm 23 tells us, God, even in that place of death, God prepares a spiritual table before us for us to take hold of the food of Christ, the food that nourishes our inner being. And friends, I invite you during this Lenten season, as Jesus drew away for 40 days, so during these 40 days of Lent, may we pull ourselves away and allow him to restore us, learn from him what needs to be done to overcome those temptations that are racking our brains and lives. Because as the verse says, he is faithful to accomplish this in us, no matter how many times we failed in the past or how many times we feel like we've made a wreck of our lives or someone else's. He is there to restore us, and he's waiting for us to turn back to him and say, "Lord, speak, for your servant is listening. Restore me, God, for you are faithful." May this be just a simple encouragement for those of you who feel like you're just trapped in these times of temptation and challenges, some by our own making, some by forces far outside of us. No matter which is the case, he is faithful, and he promises to see you through it. Lord God, may you encourage all those who watch to know you are faithful You are good. You forgive us, restore us, and recreate us into your image. Amen. Have a blessed day.